Hey everyone, it's Alex the Real Mr. Robinson here, and I'm back again for another Stardust reaction video. This time it's for The Incredibles 2, the big #1 movie in the world, $180 million opening weekend. That's damn impressive, and really goes to show that 14 years was well worth it. So if you're not familiar with Stardust, here's the breakdown. Stardust is a free app where you can go and do quick 30-second reactions to a movie, TV show, trailer, anything that's available in their archive. Hell, you could even do theme park rides if they're simulated, like I did the original Star Tours, the new Star Tours, and it's just a great way to get your thoughts on a movie out there in a very quick amount of time, and that way you could just be very straight to the point. I use it all the time when I review trailers, when I talk about TV shows, just anything that I don't have the time to talk about on this YouTube channel. And I also use the app to get my thoughts on a movie as soon as I walk out of the theater, whether it's a press screening or just going to see it with a crowd on a Thursday night. So the last Stardust reaction video I did was for Solo, a Star Wars story, which was so long ago. Oh my god. But anyway, things have just been incredibly busy at work, but I'm back, and what better movie to talk about Stardust reactions with than Incredibles 2. Like I mentioned beforehand, I love the movie. You can check out my spoiler-free review that I did over the weekend. It's just an all-around great movie. I don't think it's as good as the first Incredibles, though, but still pretty damn good. Most of Stardust tends to agree. I really did try to look to see if there's any negative reactions whatsoever, and there isn't. So that just goes to show how good the movie is. We are going to start off with a friend of mine, actually, Raul Rodriguez, who I actually met for the first time at the Collider live screening of Back to the Future, and then I met him at a couple other events here and there, and found out that he was on Stardust at the Rampage screening that a bunch of us were invited to. So let's see what he has to say about Incredibles 2.
I wanted to wait until I saw it a second time just to give a great review, and I still liked it a lot. I love this movie. My only flaw with the movie is with the villain. I think he needed more personality, like Syndrome, but still, this was pretty action heavy like the first one. I really love the characters of all of the parts, and also we got more Frozen, especially we got so many layers. So technically, even Dan Morrow's area, this is like Watchmen for kids. So go and see it. It's still a 10 out of 10.
And due to the 30-second time limit that you have on Stardust, it just kind of cut off. But Watchmen for kids, I don't think I ever really thought about that. I mean, nothing in the movie really screamed Watchmen to me, because I think Watchmen deals with a little more darker, more serious elements, and this one, it's more family friendly, right down to the actual point of the movie being that Mr. Incredible has to stay home while Elastigirl goes out and fights crime. So I guess that's an interesting way to look at it, but it really never crossed my mind. And he also had the same problem that I had with the movie, which was the villain. Now, in my spoiler-free review, I mentioned that a lot of people saw the villain coming a mile away. I didn't, and let me tell you why. Because they kept promoting Bob Odenkirk's character throughout all the trailers, and I just thought, you know, Bob Odenkirk, whenever he plays a character, he's usually slimy and Weasley, like Better Call Saul. And I just so expected that to happen with his character, and I was surprised that he wasn't the villain. It ended up being his sister, which that was the element that I didn't see coming. But his sister, at the same time, didn't have much of a personality, and it is, when you think about it, kind of a lame twist, and her plot just, it doesn't make any sense at all. I still can't really figure out what her motivation was to do what she was doing. Okay, next up is going to be Zach Pope. Here's what he has to say about the movie.
Yo, I haven't been on here in a while, but let's talk Incredibles 2. A bunch of you guys have seen it tonight, and holy fuck, I might even think this might be even better than the first one. I don't know yet. Gotta rewatch this one quite a couple of times. I'm excited to see this film again. I saw it like last week, but the more I sit on it, the more I even like it more. Incredibles 2 is great. The only downside is the villain. I think it's just a little bit too predictable, but seriously, Jack steals the whole entire film. The score is amazing, and the animation and action is wow.
Yeah, Jack definitely does steal this movie, and like I mentioned, there's some great scenes with him where he's fighting a raccoon out in the backyard, and we just get to see all the powers that he has, like turn into a demon, turn himself into the Human Torch, shoot lasers out of his eyes, multiply, which was kind of cool. And then as the movie goes on, you just get to see more random powers, and it's just always surprising, like when he just travels into other dimensions, and he can actually hear you in other dimensions. He can grow big. He could just do all kinds of absolutely insane things. Although, one thing that really confused me when watching the movie is that I could have sworn that the parents knew about the powers, or at least they saw Jack Jack going crazy when Syndrome was flying away with him. So I just assumed that, especially since the end of the first Incredibles, they gave Jack Jack a mask. But whatever, I mean, they never really flat out said that the family knew about his powers, so I mean, whatever. I'm not going to complain. It's still a great sequel. Alright, so the last Stardust reaction I have to feature is from Sky McSparkle, which constantly makes me ask, how do people come up with these usernames? Like, my username, The Real Mr. Robinson, is just kind of simple, but it's not very creative. It's not something like Finely Tailored, or Zyborg, or Sky McSparkle, or just a bunch of other great usernames.
Incredibles 2 was so amazing. I think it's better than the first one. I know that's such a massive statement to say, but it was so good. I love Jack Jack. The way they carried the storyline from the first movie into the second is so brilliantly done. I do recommend watching the first movie first. Not saying you have to, but I think you really appreciate all the hard work that has been put in after 14 years.
I would say you do have to see the first movie before seeing this one, just because it's the first movie. Why would you not rewatch it? But I really do appreciate how this movie kind of took place right after the first one. I was sort of against it, wishing that they would just move on 14 years later and see how the family and the kids have grown. But I'm actually glad that they did what they did. And I've actually found it rather amusing that the opening sequence is pretty much a different version of the Pixar short Jack Jack Attack, which was a short film that took place during the events of The Incredibles, where we just get to see the babysitter having to deal with all these powers that Jack Jack has, because she's the first one to discover this, and it was just kind of amusing. And yep, I don't have much else to say. Those are all the Stardust reactions I have for The Incredibles 2. Now, the next Stardust video that I will be doing is for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I've already reviewed, but the movie has yet to come out in the United States. So once you see the movie, just go ahead and tag me in your reactions on Stardust. But if you don't have a Stardust account, just go ahead and download it on your phone, whether it's iPhone or Android. Make sure to follow me, or you can just do it all using the link down here, stardust.app.link/RealMrRobinson. So I actually didn't make a call out for reactions to The Incredibles 2, but I will be making one for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdoms, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for it. I'll share the call out on Twitter, and until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on Incredibles 2 and all the spoilers. Don't forget to support my Patreon page, follow me on social media, and until next time, this is The Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.